Hi guys, it's Sam from Brights Props, and let's turn it on. That's better. If you want to learn how to put LEDs in your 3D models, then continue watching. There are three main softwares I use: Blender, Fusion 360, and Meshmixer. Let's start with Blender. The first thing that needs to be done is to separate the guard, handle, and blade from each other. Later we will use a software called Meshmixer to slice the blade into smaller pieces. Begin by selecting the object and entering edit mode. I use a shortcut Tab to do this. Hit the selection tool and start selecting all the vertices in the blade portion. Once you get to the area that you want separated, swapping to the face mode will make it easier to deselect the area that you do not want. To deselect, hold the control and select the faces you do not want and hit the left mouse key. Once everything is selected, hit the P and select Selection. This will separate the object into two different objects, the sword and the guard. And now repeat the steps for the guard and the handle. Once the parts are separated, we will need to fill in the holes that are left behind. This needs to be done because we will be using the boolean modifier later, and it will not work on an object that has holes. Be in vertex mode and go to select at the top of the screen, and then select by trait and then non-manifold. This will select every vertex that is essentially floating and does not have a full proper connection. In this case, it is missing a face. Remove the vertices except for a small section and select F. This will add a new face. Doing it in small sections will help keep the shape of the object. Repeat the steps until no more manifold vertices appear. There is a better way of doing this, but I always seem to forget, so I always do it this way. You'll have to do this on every single piece that you separated. Now in face mode, select everything on the top of the blade and expand it out. Select the top faces and hit the scale tool and scale it down. By doing this, we're essentially making a pocket in the handle that the blade can sit into to make it more secure. I suggest selecting the top line of vertexes and aligning the Z-axis. This will help make a better fit and a flat surface to print. In order to do this, select the top axis, select S for scale, Z for the Z-axis, and 0. This will align all of them on the same axis. Repeat these steps on the handle portion. Next up is where to put the battery and microchips. Typically I will put them in the handle, but since the handle is too small on the sword, I decided to hollow out the guard. Here I am selecting a portion of the side to be able to create an opening to slide the battery in. I simply select what I want and hit P and hit selection, just like before. Since the guard needs to be hollow, I am opening it in Cura to verify how many wall lines I have. Strength in a 3D print does not all come from the infill. The biggest factor is how many outer walls there are. For a part like this, I want at least 6 outer lines to make it strong enough. In Cura, we can see there's only 2 outer lines so far, so let's head back to Blender and fix this. Select the guard and then go to modifiers and add a solidifier modifier. The line width that I'm using in Cura is 0.4, so 0.4 times 6 is 2.4. So now back to Cura to verify that there's 4 outer lines now. And don't forget to hit the lay flat button on your prints. Now it is time to use a boolean modifier to make an indent in the guard for your blade and the handle. Do some test prints to verify that these pieces fit together. You may have to add the percentage or sand to get the pieces to fit snugly. All printers are different, and I know the tolerances for my printers. You can also duplicate the blade and scale it up a bit, and use that scaled version as a boolean, and then print out the smaller one to be able to fit into the hole. The safer method is probably just scaling it in Cura. Fusion 360 is another modeling program that I use, specifically for getting correct measurements. Here I am making a box for the switch that I will be inserting into the guard. I added around 0.5 millimeters to each measurement because that is what my printers can tolerate. I suggest experimenting with your printer to get the right dimensions and then just save that file so you can come back to it and reuse it. Here I'm just positioning where I want the switch to go. In the end I did come back and move it over a little bit because it was too close to the handle. Once you find your location, then just add another boolean to the guard. After verify in Blender that all your holes are correct and showing up within the model. Once you're done modifications to your guard, then head over to Meshmixer and cut up your blade. If you'd like to see a tutorial on how I cut things up in Meshmixer, leave a comment below. I also kept this tip smaller so it's easier to insert the LEDs at the end and to glue them in. I will have a more in-depth tutorial on what my settings are in Cura for this blade next time, or you can check out my Meshmixer Reforge video. And don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you want to see more glowing props. Thank you so much for watching, and join me next time when I finish off Excalibur. Bye guys!